Morning, students. I wanted to go through Review B with you. Everybody's going to be taking this based on what we're doing this week at different times. It really needs to be finished by Tuesday. And so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to learn to arrange the artboards. Okay, guys, if it says anything about artboards, you have to go get the artboards panel. If I ask you to do a second artboard, if you don't set it up initially, you have to go to Window and Artboards. And we're about to do that first. That'll be the first thing we do. This is a question on the test. So I'm going to go to Window and Artboards. And I'm going to bring up the Artboards panel over here. And the thing that you're going to be doing with the artboards is you're going to arrange them. So if it says anything about arrange, you come down to this bottom left hand on the left hand side, and then you're just going to click because I want you to arrange them horizontally. Okay, so you're just going to click up here on the third one, and you can see that arrow. I don't love that. You also could arrange them in columns, but I'm going to go ahead and do this because I think that was the question on the test, and say okay. And you can see now that it did rearrange all your artboards. I don't love the way that these look, but I'm going to go, and you can always go to view, and there are questions about view that we haven't gone over. And so we're going to fit this first artboard in a window. That's the one, and then you can use your hand tool to move from one to another. Guys, this next question is hard. If you and I don't remember you doing this in Geometrics, but I remember this being on the test. Okay, so the thing that you're going to do next is you're going to create a new color group based on whatever shape they gave you. And I think it was a new color group in your swatches panel that has split complementary colors. So go to Windows and open up the color guide panel. And you just have to remember, and what I would do is I would go ahead and click on that blue circle. That's your basis for the color. And so you're just going to, when you see this question, you're just going to have to, we'll go through these questions again. You're going to have to go to Window and Color Guide. And the problem that I always had with this question is I would not go up here to the top and I would click on it. You've got to make sure it's selected in the color guide. Even though it shows it, it's not selected. And then you're going to come up here, and I know the one I gave you is split complementary. Let me bring that back up again. I don't know why it went away. Let me bring that back up again. Window and color guide. And then what you want to do is come up here to this arrow right here, and that's where it's going to give you all the different things that you can do. And I'll have to scroll down to find split complementary, but it's in here. You'll just scroll down and find the one that they asked you to use, okay? And so that's what you'll do on that question. But there's one more thing that you've got to do. Let me go ahead and see which one. And you'll go find split complementary if you can. It is in there, and that's how you do that. You just find that arrow right here, and then scroll down to find that. And then the last thing you're going to do is you're going to click right here, and that will save the color group in the swatches panel. Guys, this is just something you're going to have to remember how to do. And it may not be split complementary, it may be something else. But just remember the color guide there. And you'll go through that, but I don't remember that question being in Geometrics. So what you want to do is remember color guide, and that may jog your memory. Okay, guys, I'm going to go on to the next thing, which is position the red rose symbol from the flowers symbol library on either shoulder. Okay, and so what I would do, first of all, on this question is I would go to Window and get your Symbols panel. It's going to be pretty easy. This one's a fast question. I really like it. Okay? And so you're going to go to Window and Symbols. And when you get the Symbols panel, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go and mine is open somewhere. Just a second, let me find it. Swatches. I don't want swatches. I want symbols. And there's brushes. I don't want that. Okay, here's my symbols panel. So what you're going to have to do when you get the symbols panel is go down here to the and find symbol libraries, and you want to find flowers, and the red rose is on the second one, and this looks very much, and I'm just going to position it on one of the shoulders. Okay, and I may have to move it down just a little bit, but that's essentially the question. I mean, exactly the question. Guys, these reviews are exact questions of what I've seen on the certification exam. Okay, guys, the last one, and there's actually 4 questions in this, even though there's just 3 art boards. I'm going to move this over, and I don't like this because this is a landscape one here, but this is, I've got to make a clipping mask. And in Illustrator, the text has to be on top for it to work. And it also wants you to do a 2-point black stroke. So the first thing, and this is the hard thing, you've got to press V to get your selection tool. And sometimes it takes a couple of times to do this. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm on my selection tool, and I'm gonna click on the outside one first, and then hold shift down and click on the text. And like I said, guys, it may take you a couple of times to do this one. And then you'll go to Object and Clipping Mask and Make. It's not that hard, but what's hard is selecting both of those. Sometimes I just have to go back and actually draw a box around those. So you want to go find Clipping Mask and say Make. And if it doesn't work, okay, it's because you don't have both of them selected like this. And I'll just tell you, I've had trouble, especially with this one. So I'm going to go back to my selection tool and I'm going to select both of them. And it's hard to do sometimes. So I'm going to go back and go to Object, Clipping Mask. And when you get to Clipping Mask, it may take you a couple of times to do that. I don't think on the test, I think it's just this document. Okay, now the next thing I need to do is I need to, first of all, I'm going to move this over so you can see it a little better. I'm going to go to Window and Stroke, okay? And I'm going to find the stroke and I want to make it a 2-point. Now, most of the time, strokes will come up at the top up there. So when you get to stroke, you've got to say Show Options, okay? And so the weight needs to be 2 points. And then you'll have to come down and find a color, okay? How do I change the color? Let me show you. Okay, I'm going to make mine just a little bigger so you can see it. Right here is the stroke. The second color is the stroke. The first color is the fill. You should know that by now. And just make sure it's black. Guys, you'll need to save this and turn this in. But this is questions that I've seen on the exam. And they do work. It just takes sometimes a couple times. And just remember that's what you'll be doing. Tuesday, make sure that this is finished by Tuesday.